What is going on, everybody? This is Pounding Rocks, and this is the Nissan Pathfinder pickup project. I'm not entirely sure what episode this is off the top of my head, but I'm sure it's way too many. Okay, so I'll start with the sad news. Because of the way the Supercharged engine is laid out, I can't use the gold VG33 valve covers that I had. So I went back to the 33 ER valve covers, which I never painted. It's too cold out to paint right now this time of year. And so they're the original OEM black. I'll probably paint them again next year. If it really bothers everybody that I went back to black, it really doesn't bother me. It just makes the engine look less exciting, I guess. But then again, if you got one of these on top of it, it's, really don't really need gold valve covers, but whatever. That's the sad news. You'll probably notice that we got some wiring started. I'm starting to lay out the harness, just kind of figuring out how I want to do it, because the setup on the VG30 is a little different. Obviously, it uses a different plug end for the injectors. There's sensors on this thing that the VG30 does not read. And there's plugs on this that, on the VG30 harness, that are different for the sensor, or various sensors on the 33. So I may have to swap some things around and see what happens there. I did go to the junkyard and scored 6 connectors for the injectors that are going to replace the VG30. I don't even know where they are on this harness. I should have planned a little better here. On this harness here they are right here. There's 3 of them right here. These are the VG30 connectors for the injectors, and you'll see that the connectors for the actual VG33 injectors is different. So I'm just going to cut the ends off and splice the VG33 connectors in. They're the same for the 33 and the 33 Supercharged. So those are the same there. I just started laying things out. The distributor's sitting here. This is a VG30 distributor sitting in. I don't think it's actually timed properly. I'm just gonna, I just have it sitting there as kind of a placeholder. Everything's kind of a placeholder at this point. So it's just to give me a rough idea of exactly how much BS I have to go through to get this thing to run. So it doesn't seem terrible. It just seems like I'm going to be stretching wires and making connections and stuff everywhere, but at least everything that I took apart from the old truck still is, I haven't lost anything, so that's good. I have to extend the fuel lines because of the body lift. So the fuel filter's here, the bracket's here. I need to stretch it a little bit, and I figured I'll just replace it down where this is right here. I'm just going to remove that whole hose and just run new hose, put a filter in here, and then just plumb it from there. This is the line that goes from the filter to the rail itself, and then the regulator is on the back side over here. And so I have to plumb a fuel line from this port back here where my middle finger is, back over to the return line, which is sitting right here. Then we'll have fuel plumbed. I still got to do coolant. I've got the heater core lines here. There's some other coolant lines that are attached to the actual air snorkel, and those ports are on the back side here. This is one of them right here. And so that's something that I've got to do. Other things that I've done today was I actually got the throttle cable attached to the pedal, but I can't finish it until I actually get the air intake tube back in place, because that's where it mounts and everything's in there. I flipped this bracket over for the speedometer cable, because the speedometer cable hangs lower now because of the body lift. So it was just popping out of this holder all the time. So I just took it, unscrewed it, flipped it, 180 degrees. Done. Here's the other thing that you're going to run into with a body lift is the power steering lines are now going to be 3 inches too short to reach to your pump. I really have to spend some time dealing with this, because one major thing that I have in my way is that with it being a 33, it's all serpentine belt here. And the original power steering pump is V-belt. Same with the alternator. The alternator is V-belt as well. So I do have a power steering pump off of an SR20 engine that is serpentine belt. I have to bring it over here and see if it even is going to mount to the bracket. I was also sorting out the brackets as well and getting all the hardware there for that. And so everything's kind of sitting up here with the brackets and the bolts, just waiting for me to get my butt together on that one. So I kind of meandered around the truck a little bit, working on whatever I could feel like I could, you know, like get small wins out of. The other thing that I know comes up sometimes on the Facebook page is the knock sensor. Because the knock sensor on these engines sits underneath the lower intake, it gets roasted. It gets cooked pretty bad. This one's actually in pretty good shape. I have to still ohm it out and make sure it's still good. If not, I will buy a new one. But physically, I've seen them actually melted. This one seems to be in good shape. So my decision is, or I've decided that I'm going to relocate this thing, and I found the perfect spot for it. On the back side of the blower, there's a mount here, mounting bolt. I just need a longer bolt, and the knock sensor will live back here behind the blower, so when it goes bad, like they always do, it's real easy to get at, and it's perfect. I just got to stretch this bolt about probably another 1/2 inch to engage this mounting hole. So this mounting hole is going to double as a blower mount and a knock sensor mount. So I've got a sample in my pocket. I'm going to take it to work and just get it to be about a 1/2 inch longer. Done. I sifted through my parts bin, and I was able to come up with the 4-wheel drive plate for the floor. That one's actually the original one out of a 1990 Pathfinder, the red one that I took apart last year. I saved this one. The one that was in here originally was 2-wheel drive, so I could have cut it away to make room for the 4-wheel drive shifter, but I didn't. This one's already adjusted properly, or cut properly for it. So sorry about that, but you'll see that I can shift through to neutral, 4 low, and it's not making any contact. So I'm good there. I'm just going to get the shift boot installed. I still got to weld this guy. This is the extended 5-speed shifter that I made. I just got to tack weld that on, and then I can put the boot on. The boot will be a little stretched, but I think we'll be okay there. What else is done here? I'll show you guys the air intake tube. I'll side by side with the original VG33. Very sad I can't use those, but I will come back swinging later. So this is where the throttle cable, this is the air intake tube that comes off the blower itself. And then of course this goes to the mass airflow sensor, and you know, you got your throttle cable here. This is where that mounts, and then you got your throttle position sensor on this side, which I do have one, I just haven't mounted it yet. And the cable actually mounts here. So once I get that mounted, then the gas pedal will be fully functional. The difference is this is the VG30 throttle position sensor that's actually supposed to work with this engine. I'm gonna have to figure out how to tap into that socket or connector and actually make it work with this setup, which is a different kind of mount, and it's actually got different plugs. So this is the wiring plumbing phase, and yeah, that's going to be a whole lot of fun. But yeah, so I have to sit down and do some more research and development here on this Now I've got the hoses to get the power steering pump plumbed to the return lines, because this is all low pressure stuff here, so we're good there. It's just getting the right pump or changing the pulley out, which I don't think that's gonna be easy. I could try and see if I can get a pulley off of like an Xterra or a Frontier, and at least the mounting would be the same, but I got to make sure that everything lines up from, you know, up here all the way down to there and then all the way around. The other thing I'm lacking is I'm also lacking the power or the water pump pulley. I thought that the 30 series would work, but it's not going to. It sits too far back and you can't screw it down. So there's that problem too. These are all things that I'm uncovering as I go through it, but that's the nature of the beast, and that is the fun of the project. If it just fell together and, you know, all I had to do was, you know, follow the instructions on cutout A, glue to, you know, part B, and it would run tomorrow, that would be, you know, that'd be nice. I could drive it, but this is just fun for me. Figuring out these problems and sorting it all out that way. And then the final conclusion is it runs, it drives, and all that lovely stuff. But we're getting there, definitely getting there. The fact that we have wiring sitting on top of the engine now is definitely a long haul from where we started, where this thing was just a, you know, a bare frame with nothing on it. And I encourage everybody to go back to the beginning of the series. I think we're like 36 videos deep into this, from bare frame, actually even earlier than that. I think the series like starts at video 5. Like prior to 5, I was actually going to repair the Pathfinder that this is based on, and then at episode 5 is when I decided that I was going to cut the body off and start transforming it into what you see now. So anything prior to 5, I guess it would be like Pathfinder pickup video 0, and then -1, -2, and all that. And then as soon as you get to 5, the 5 would be like the beginning of this project. So this is where I'm at now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm really looking forward to hearing this thing run. I've got other things on the list that I still have to do, many things. The novel keeps getting bigger, but for each thing that I add to the list, I've knocked a few things off the list as well. So every time I look at this, it's a little closer. I hope you guys like what I'm doing. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. I love that. And just keep going. If you guys like what I do, like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below, and have yourself a good weekend. I'm going to take a break now. The next video will be about Patches, the hard body that's over at my house. I'm getting ready to do more head gasket work and stuff. I've actually got more things to report on that. So tune in there. And I'm always available through Instagram, which is Rainmaker_D21. Or I've had a lot of people email me at Nissan Rallycross Truck@gmail.com. So, you know, I really appreciate everybody tuning in and checking out the stuff that I do. So take care. Thanks again. Bye now.